Greta Gerwig is back with another movie after having quite a lot of success with Lady Bird, which I thought was good, but not quite as great as a lot of people seem to think it was. But I've liked her as an actor in movies like Frances Ha even before that, a movie she also wrote, so I've been aware of her talent for quite some time now. I've also been aware of this novel for a while and even considered reading it, but it never got very high on my priority list, so that never happened. However, it did look like the kind of story I might enjoy, because I do like period pieces. And I got the vibe that this might have a fair bit of humor in it too. Which it does, but it's not in your face, it's a little bit more subtle than that. And I would call it more amusing than outright hilarious, to be honest. Which is fine, because I don't think it was going for outright hilarious either. So it didn't feel like it was aiming too high and then falling short. But anyway, what's the idea here? What's the story actually about? Well, as the title and the poster might suggest, it's about these young women. 4 sisters, and it basically just follows their lives during the Civil War era. Or well, it jumps back and forth to the war and a few years after that. Although the war isn't necessarily even that integral to the story. But that's the setting here, and these women of course have their struggles. And they have their individual love lives and their individual aspirations. They all aspire to have very different kind of lives, and they walk their own paths. And the first thing I have to say is that the cast here is really good. They pretty much needed an all-star cast of young talented women, and they pretty much nailed it. I don't think they could have done much better as far as the casting goes. But I will have to say that Meryl Streep kinda stole the show here. She has a fairly minor role, but every time she's on screen, it's her show. And I don't even know how she manages to impress me at this point. Because I know she's great and I never expect her to be anything but great. And still, when it comes to small roles like this, a lot of people would just play it safe or even phone it in. But she doesn't, and therefore I have to say that she was probably my single favorite part of the movie. But that's not to say that I disliked the rest of it. In fact, I very much enjoyed it. Although if I'd had to criticize something, I guess it would be the overall narrative. Just the main story, because I honestly didn't find it to be that interesting or engaging. And in a lot of movies that would be a big problem, maybe even a deal breaker. However, in this, that didn't really end up being much of an issue at all, because I still found the movie to be very emotionally engaging. To a surprising degree actually, and that's probably because of the characters. And because of their relationships to each other, and the acting too. Which meant I got invested in their individual stories and struggles. And that was engaging enough that the overall big picture narrative didn't really need to be all that impressive for this to work. And work it did, because I found myself getting emotional on a very consistent basis watching this. And while I've seen movies fairly recently that have turned me into a blubbering mess by the end, this one didn't do that exactly, it just tugged at my emotions a bit more gently and more frequently. Which is actually more of a pleasant experience, and it feels less manipulative too. It feels like it's more earned and authentic and not too over the top. But yeah, I think this movie just gets to the core of things. What life is all about. Family, friendship, death, love, heartbreak, all of that. And it does it in a way that just feels genuine and not melodramatic. So yeah, I ended up liking this quite a bit, but would I recommend it? Sure, if you like dramas, you should probably check this one out. Or I guess you could just skip it. After all, I'm not your dad. But hey, what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a thumbs up or sub to the channel, because that would be fantastic. And if you'd like, you can also support me on Patreon or PayPal through the links in the description. And as always, I appreciate you and thanks for watching.